Hi, my name is Christopher Westphal. I'm a licensed insurance agent specializing in Medicare and senior benefits. Today we're answering the question, can I use Medicare at the Cleveland Clinic? You know, the Cleveland Clinic is known throughout the world for its specialty health care when it comes to heart and heart-related issues. It's also ranked #1 for the treatment of urology problems with men. So the Cleveland Clinic is located in Cleveland, Ohio, but people come from all over the world to seek treatment there. Now, if you do some research about the Cleveland Clinic, you'll find some negative things having to do with Medicare, specifically back between 2012 to 2014, when Medicare actually threatened to pull funding because of some adverse complaints and things happening in the hospital. Hopefully all that's been resolved by now, and still they've attained that #1 status for the two specialties that I mentioned. So the Cleveland Clinic, if you go there and you have original Medicare, the answer is yes. The Cleveland Clinic accepts Medicare and Medicare Assignment for all their physician services. Now, it bears repeating, it does not have to do with the facility at this point, because the facility itself has decided to accept Medicare's payment in full for its physician and hospital services. However, if you seek care for other things that are not covered by Medicare, they won't be covered here either. So you have to look at both things, the facility, the doctor who's going to be treating you, and what it is that they're going to be treating. And of course they can go over that with you. But anything that's not covered by Medicare is not covered simply because the Cleveland Clinic accepts Medicare and Medicare Assignment. So how does that work with Medicare Supplemental Insurance? It's great, because since they accept Medicare Assignment, that means there are no possibilities of excess charges. Again, it bears repeating. As soon as you make sure that the clinic is going to accept original Medicare and Medicare Assignment, and that your provider that may be permanently there or visiting there or practicing there as a specialty, they accept Medicare Assignment as well, then your original Medicare is going to pay 80% after your Part B deductible, and your supplement is going to pay that other 20% that without a supplement you have to pay out of your pocket, again with no limit, which is why we recommend having a Medicare Supplement plan. Beyond the 80 that Medicare pays, the 20 that the supplement will pay, you have no other cost. Now, if you have Medicare Supplement Plan F, Plan G, and Plan N, that is effective, what I just said. Medicare Supplement Plan N will have that copay if you're going outpatient to doctors and hospitals up to $20, and then if you're going into an emergency room up to $50, but it's waived if you're admitted. But you have no exposure to excess charges when both your facility and your doctor accept Medicare and Medicare Assignment as payment in full. So the other question is, does the Cleveland Clinic require that my doctor give me a referral locally before I can then go to the Cleveland Clinic? The answer is no. You know, that's the great thing about having original Medicare as opposed to like a Medicare Advantage HMO plan. On original Medicare, for virtually nothing do you need a recommendation from one doctor in order to go see another doctor, otherwise known as a referral. With Medicare Advantage plans, typically, the HMOs will require that you have a primary care physician and that he or she decides which specialty that you're going to go to. It has to be in the network, first of all, has to have a valid contract with them in place right now, secondly, and that you can get their permission to go outside of their scope of care at the primary. If the primary doctor thinks that they can handle your cardiology issue, your urology issue, or whatever in their practice, they could not give you a referral, and then you just can't go to see that specialist. That's one of the limitations and restrictions of Medicare Advantage plans. Now, if you go to a place like MD Anderson or Mayo Clinic, or in this case, the Cleveland Clinic, and you have a Medicare Advantage plan, it's going to be very, very difficult to get seen, because these plans don't accept just any Medicare Advantage plan, because they can't be in those networks. Now, the Cleveland Clinic does accept, and they offer 2 co-branded Humana Medicare Advantage plans, and you can contact them to see this. I hesitate to tell you this information because it's current as of 2018-2019, as of the date of this recording, but it could change in the future. So you need to check in with that. But again, that's going to be a Medicare Advantage plan, which is specific to your county where you live. If you're local to the Cleveland Clinic, you've got those options. If you live in Biloxi, Mississippi, and you're wondering if your HMO Medicare Advantage plan is going to allow you to travel across the country and go to the Cleveland Clinic, my answer is probably going to be heck no, they won't. You can go in your local area and you can exhaust your local network on a Medicare Advantage plan, but the chances of you going to a specialty operation like this are slim to probably none. So, if you have original Medicare, you've got the freedom and choice to go to any provider in the country that accepts original Medicare, which is most everybody. If you have a Medicare Supplement plan, it's going to fill, otherwise called the Medigap plan, fill what original Medicare does not pay. Generally, that's the 20% exposure that Medicare itself is not going to pay of outpatient services, such as x-rays, labs, doctor visits, outpatient surgery, all those kind of things. That's why it's critically important to get, while you can, a Medicare Supplement plan. You know, it's been brought up to me recently. We had another situation where someone was turning 65, brand new to Medicare, and they signed up for a Medicare Advantage plan. Then their open enrollment period, their initial election period, which is their open window to do anything on Medicare that they wish to do, expired. And that's when they started having all the trouble. Cancer, heart issues, all that kind of stuff. And they're at the complete and sole mercy of their Medicare Advantage HMO plan. Their course of treatment is generally going to be the most cheap, cost-effective treatment by the doctors who accepted the contract at lower capitation rates, as opposed to those specialists and hospitals and treatment centers such as this that will accept not just network plans or no network plans, but original Medicare to be sure. So having original Medicare and a supplement while you can get it during the initial election period is quite critical, and that decision is quite influential on your health care decisions going forward. On a managed care plan, the health plan and the doctor have to both decide that it's fiscally responsible and in your best interest before they administer that type of care and spend those kind of dollars on your care. With non-managed care, with original Medicare, it's your doctor within Medicare guidelines that's what's reasonable and appropriate that decides what the treatment's going to be. If your doctor says you need a CAT scan, by golly, you go get a CAT scan, and not the cheapest levels of scans like x-rays and wait for a local scan, all that kind. We hear that stuff all the time with HMOs. They try the least expensive kind going up. And when you're talking about things like cancer or heart treatment even, to postpone even tests that could be most relevant to you right now just because of cost is kind of frustrating. And the client that we spoke to recently was expressing that. He wanted to go back to original Medicare, but doing so would expose him to 20% of all the costs, because once you're outside of that open enrollment period, and the open enrollment period I'm talking about is 6 months before you turn 65, you could get a Medicare supplement. 6 months after you turn 65, you can still get a Medicare supplement during that initial open enrollment period. Outside of that, in most every state, there are certain exceptions like Washington, California, New York, Connecticut, Missouri. There are certain exceptions where you can get other opportunities later. But for the vast majority of the United States, once you're outside of that initial election period and then things start to break down, then things start to happen, then you might be up a creek without a paddle if you chose the wrong plan. So a Medicare supplement on top of original Medicare affords you the most wide-ranging choices when it comes to your health care. You don't have to just stay in Biloxi, Mississippi. You could go to the Cleveland Clinic. You could go to the Mayo Clinic. You could go to MD Anderson. You can go to all these places that are world-renowned for the best possible treatment. After all, health is everything. My name is Chris Westfall. We provide a free shopping service for seniors on Medicare. If you want to compare your plan, if you're paying too much and you want to see if there's something better, because there usually is every 2 years in, give us a call at my office. We'd be happy to help you. Our service is no charge. Just like your life insurance or your homeowners or your car insurance agent, we don't charge you any money. We just help facilitate the plan if it's in your best interest. Give me a call and see if we can help. Thank you. Have a great day.